Hi there, Scott again at Fifth Wheelers Australia in Ballarat, and today I'd like to show you the 3-inch gooseneck ball that we've got for the Ram 25 or 3500. So behind me here is a current model Ram 2500 by Ram Australia, and we've put the 3-inch ball in the floor, and it works out 1 metre and 50 mil from the back of the tub, so 1050 millimetres to the 3-inch ball. Either side there we've got some chain mounts. So the kit we use is a B and W kit out of the USA. It comes, this is the kit, and it bolts up with 4 bolts to a factory cross member. So underneath the truck, if you want to see if your truck is suitable, it'll have a big factory cross member there between the 2 chassis rails with a hole in the centre. So if you've got the right truck, you use this supplied template in the hole, and you drill a hole, pilot hole. You pop a hole saw through, an 89 mil or 3.5 inch. Once the hole saw's through the floor, you put a spacer plate in, that side down, between the tub and the cross member. Once that's in, you can lift this into place. Now, to make it easy to lift in, we take down a heat shield, a spare tyre, and we loosen the exhaust off. Once you put this up in place, you then bolt it in with 4, 5, 8 bolts and rattle them up to 150 foot-pound. This will be poking up through the floor. Once that's done, you mount the handle, and I'll show you some tips later on that, but it starts off, bolt this up like this on the bench, and then underneath you'll feed it through and out into the wheel arch. That's the pull handle. The pull handle works like so. You might wonder what these L shapes are for. They are where the bolts go into. So that pokes in from the wheel arch, I'll show you that later, and it ends up in here like this, above the cross member, and when you put the 5/8 bolts up, that tightens it down into place. So there's one of those for each side. I'll give you some tips on that. And then when you're nearing the finish or the completion of the job, you use the supplied template, drop the ball in, sit that over the top, and then you drill through the 1384 holes for a 2500 truck. It's known as a 3/4 ton. And if you've got the 3500, you drill through these inner holes. And when you drill down through there, you've got to drill through the cross member, and then your holes will line up here. And this is where you'll put in your chain mounts. They'll go through that hole, springs and nuts underneath. And then, yeah, you simply pull the handle, and the ball drops in. We'll supply it with a 3-inch ADR approved ball. Using the supplied template, mark a hole on the underside of the tub floor and drill a pilot hole. So now we're going to drill a 3.5 inch hole through the floor. After you've drilled the 3.5 inch hole saw in the floor of the tub, you have to insert this spacer disc. The flute side is down. The best way to put it in is in front of the factory cross member, in between there, and force it back so it sits in this position in between the cross member and the tub floor. The next step in the install process is to place this fastener handle in between the cross member and the floor of the tub. The object of that is to provide these 2 nuts for the receiver box to bolt to. So the concept when it's finished is to be like that, and the bolts will come up from underneath. So we place the fastener handle in here. We've loosened off the inner guard, we've removed the 2 screws. Open that up like that and poke it above the factory cross member and below the tub, and you've got to sort of force it all the way in, and then from underneath there's 2 holes in the cross member. Try and eye them up so they line up with the 2 nuts. Do the same on the other side. The next step is to put the receiver box up underneath the tub, and we find if we make a little hoist up here with a couple of cans of paint, block of wood and a ratchet strap type of thing, that'll hook around it and pull it up, and it'll make it a lot easier because they're pretty heavy. So here we are under the truck with the receiver box sort of in place. I forced it in up over the exhaust first, and we hooked the ratchet strap on, and it's got the weight, so it's sort of hanging on the ratchet strap. Now the way to get it up over the exhaust, remove the rubber mount, stick a hunk of wood in there and pull down tight on the exhaust, and that'll open the space up and allow the receiver box to go up over, and then we'll bolt it in the 4 bolts. We also removed this the heat shield after we pulled the spare tyre down, and that just gives you access to this area here. So whip that down first, and then put the box up. Now we'll go and rattle the 4 bolts in, and then we're getting close to done. The next step is to assemble the pull handle onto the grey bracket, and once it's assembled all as one, poke it in front of the brake hanger, in between there and the top hat, and poke it towards the guard, and you'll need someone to help you pull it out the other side. So rounding the wheel arch, again, take your 2 screws out, bend up the plastic liner, and here's the handle here, and rattle it out, and it's come out just behind this top hat section and the wiring loom, and then lower that down, and that's where you'll operate and pull the handle from. Here we are, just getting to the end of the job. I'll show you how the ball works. The 3-inch ball will drop into the open hole on the floor. That'll drop in like that and down. We've got our latch pins there for the chains. Now rounding the wheel arch, it's already in the open position, and it's out and clicked held towards the front. To secure the ball in position, pull out, move towards the back, and it'll fire in under spring, and that secures the pin through the ball and stops it coming out, and you're ready for towing. So if you'd like a 3-inch kit for your Ram, whether it be a 2500 or a 3500, or we've now got a 1500 kit for the smaller trucks, contact us at Fifth Wheelers Australia in Ballarat, Victoria.